All right, we're going to be talking about poisoning people, the masses. The masses are asses. A buddy told me, his father used to tell him that the masses are asses. And it's kind of like, well, I'm part of the masses, so, you're calling me an ass. Well, there's different levels to abuse, oppression, poisonings, and nobody is immune to it. Um, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. You can't get into self-hatred of for things that you didn't know. That really wasn't you. You may have harmed a family member. You may have encouraged them to vaccinate. You may have harmed your own child. Um, that type of guilt, resentments um, on your heart for something that psychopathic killers tricked you into doing is something that you need to come to terms with, because if you don't, it's basically a cancer that just eats away at your soul. Now, you can try to sweep it under the rug and do positive things to forget, but until you face what's happened, why it makes you feel that way, and you come to terms with these things, that it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mistake like take one, take two of a movie, like you're some kind of an actor in a movie. That's where they want you to be. It's just something that happened because of the brainwashing that you fell victim to. But you don't stay, like I said, the whole point is not to stay in that victim mindset. So, because it's a self-destructive process, which is right where they want you, and then that rubs off on your loved ones, your family and friends. So, with these poisonings, mental and physical poisonings are the way to control animal livestock, cattle, and interbreeding and genetic modification and those type of things. Basically, I want to walk you through what happens with a typical vaccination, typical childbirth. Most parents, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority, are still not aware of the dangers of vaccines. They kind of, well, my mother and father knew it was good enough for them. They poisoned me. All these doctors are not warning me about it. And you just kind of go through the motions of the system. The system has a way of pushing you through things and making you do exactly what everyone else does. And if you don't, you may be threatened to be stripped of some kind of benefit, or, you feel like you're an outcast, alienated. And that's part of the mind control and deception. So typically, I'm going to basically tell you what happens. So after your child is born, the first two poisonings are vitamin K for the blood clotting, which would be necessary for a circumcision. We're going to get into that right after this, because the human body doesn't produce vitamin K until the 8th day. An 8-day-old infant produces it on his own. But so they give you this artificial vitamin K, which will allow blood clotting, so your baby doesn't die after the circumcision. The other poisoning, which could be right before or after that, they're usually pretty close to each other and right after birth, is the antibiotics for the eyes. And they'll try to convince you that, when your baby came through the mother's uterus and vagina out, that it was susceptible to bacteria that can make the baby have go blind or whatever, really crazy stuff. And of course, along with following along with the majority, these mothers and fathers agree to that, and they're silent. They agree to it, or they're just completely silent. If you're silent, they go ahead and do it. Silence is consent. So, and then of course they want to go ahead, and if you have a male child, circumcise your child. That's mutilation. You're removing millions of nerve endings and changing the whole makeup, the biology of the child. That's another form of mutilation and physically harming your child. And then, of course, they used to do vaccinations right away. They're going to want to start with a vaccine regimen, have you come back, bring your child in sometime after that, or probably right away in some states, and come back and get your child poisoned. For the record, this video may be taken down because it is truthful. There's no speculation within it, so it may be taken down. It's going to save somebody from killing their child, brain damaging their child. So the moral of the story is all vaccines are absolutely terrible for your child. None of them are beneficial. You don't need to accept any of them. So don't. Just say no to poisoning your child and shooting them up with terrible toxic waste and live viruses, weakened viruses. If you want to strengthen your child's immune system, you're not going to do it by poisoning them and making them brain dead. You'll do it through vegetables and breast milk, and whatever else you choose with your common sense. Honey, salmon. They say mercury, so you don't feed them 10 pieces a day. Use a little common sense. Different things that build up an immune system, not poison from vaccines. So it's not maybe this one, maybe the hepatitis one, maybe the tetanus shot, and none of them do anything except kill your child. So that's it. And they want you, if you vaccinate your child, they're going to be dumb enough to believe in this system. They're going to be dumb enough to vaccinate their own child when the time comes. So there's many benefits to making a person brain dead and compliant and following along with the system, because you pass that on to your own children. So not only is their immune system going to be affected, they'll be so stupid that they'll believe everything on the news. They will most likely poison everyone they talk to and interact with, because that's what they were taught was okay to do. So these things are done intentionally. You're not going to be warned about them. They want to keep you dumb with a weakened immune system and dependent upon this system to continue. So none of the vaccines are beneficial. Circumcision is certainly not beneficial. And that's just the way it is.